We have Spencer Jakab here anyway to talk about his piece on General Electric. They had their earnings earlier today, Spencer.
They did pretty well.
They did pretty well.
Yeah, they did
but
a little
you
better
have
than
to agree
expected.
with my perspective on GE. I mean, once upon a time, everybody looked up to GE. Now it's Apple.
right.
Apple this, Apple that, Apple. It used to be years ago. It was General Electric this, General Electric that.
You know, you look at Chief Jeff Immelt, right? And you say, like, he's a multimillionaire. He's got a great life, whatever. I feel a little sorry for the guy. Okay.
Really?
Because when you succeed,
do you think the shareholders feel sorry for him? Share price is down. I don't know, 50 or 60% under his watch. Do you think they feel
that's
bad?
here's the issue. I mean, the company, even after everything that happened, and we'll get into that in a minute, is more profitable today than it was when his predecessor, Neutron Jack Welch, left the firm.
But it has half the multiple.
But it's a third of the multiple.
It's a third of the multiple, yeah.
And that's the thing is, I mean, when you succeed a guy who has Neutron in his name, I mean, I don't think the person who wrote the tape before me, I don't think Kelly was called Kelly Neutron Evans, right? Thank goodness. I mean, I would be like, I'd never live it down. People wouldn't even pick it up. But it's, he came in a few days after 9/11. He didn't really like the financial business,
but he didn't really. He kind of was stuck with it. I mean, he didn't. It wasn't like he tried to do away with it or cut down their exposure to it. In effect, he kind of doubled down on it. I mean,
he didn't try too hard,
right?
Because it's hard to kick. I mean, it was driving, let's say, 2007, the last good year, half of their earnings. Right. It was growing faster.
We got a chart here, and just to show people what we're talking about. So if you look at the orange on your screen, that was the contribution of GE Capital, and if you go back to 06, 07, it was plus or minus half their profits.
Right.
And going back to 09, basically, it almost took. GE Capital almost took all of GE down with it.
Very nearly, yeah. And I mean, it was really just thanks to the backstopping of commercial paper by us, the taxpayer, and a lifeline by Berkshire Hathaway and other things that really, saved them.
So is GE now running on all cylinders? I mean, the industrial businesses are doing okay.
The industrial businesses are good. I mean, they have a good collection of businesses. They have good geographic exposure. They're in the right areas. Those have been good in the past. There were some things, it's funny, like in 2007, the things that they were thinking of getting rid of were like appliances and things like that. I mean, really marginal businesses. I mean, then they had much bigger fish to fry come 2008. That was the least of their concerns. But they have a pretty good set of businesses, and the thing is that, capital, yes, the profits doubled last year after doubling a year before.
But it's not back
off a pretty low base, and it's still a threat to the business. They got downgraded earlier this month on the basis of the lingering threat from capital's weakness.
And Jeff Immelt today said no big acquisitions.
Right.
We're going to try and grow this thing organically. They have a lot of overseas exposure. It may work out well for GE. Are they more deserving of the 12 times earnings multiple they have right now?
I think it's too cheap right now. I mean, I think you look at the problem is you can't really the financial business deserves a low multiple. But you've heard people say, like, well, they should get rid of it. Yeah, they should. Maybe perhaps they didn't really need to have it. The synergies that they touted it giving them were really exaggerated. But now it's very, very difficult, in the current environment for it to stand on its own.
Final question, then we got to go. I got Jeanette Newman coming up. The world does not wait for Jeanette Newman.
Okay.
Final question, Spencer.
Okay.
Should GE exist as a conglomerate anymore? Yes or no?
Yeah, it should, and it has no choice.